Hey mates, Captain Mark Stevenson here. Thank you for joining us today from the Wheelhouse, sponsored by Dreamcatchers. I just am so excited. I'm so excited to tell you about all of the things that we've been doing the last couple of weeks. We have not been on the air. Oh my goodness, where has Captain Mark been? I've been traveling a bit, been to Puerto Rico, beautiful Puerto Rico, and I can tell you the number of boats that are in Puerto Rico make the boats in Chicago look like small change. And all of the talk that we heard about all of the hurricane damage to Puerto Rico, trust me, they're still thriving. People have generators there. Water is still flowing. And along the waterfront, the boats are still riding, all of them. So things are much better than what the news has told us. The news likes to promote all of the bad things about hurricanes and the weather and so forth. But I can tell you, Puerto Rico was absolutely beautiful. While I was there, I got a chance to see my dear friend, teacher, and mentor. And his name is Bill Pickney. Captain Bill Pickney is one of a kind. Now, those of you that don't know Captain Bill Pickney, let me give you a little bit of history on him. There have been 5 Americans that have went around the world. We call it circumventing the world. And I'm telling you, only 5 Americans, one of them was black, and that was Captain Bill Pickney. It took him 2.5 years. Do you know that more people have been to the top of Mount Everest? Many, many more people to the top of Mount Everest than people from America that has taken a chance to sail around the world. Yeah, 2.5 years. If you want to find out more about his boat called Commitment and his magnificent journey, he has a book. You can go on YouTube. You can also look up Bill Pickney, and it is all about his boat called Commitment and the struggles that he had going around the world in that 2.5 years, all of the breakdowns and so forth. I was honored, just absolutely honored to spend 2 days with him and his lovely wife. And I was there for a couple of reasons, to look for boats for clients, but I also wanted to get his permission to name one of the newest boats on Lake Michigan, which will be called Captain Bill Pickney. That's right. And he gave us permission to use his name on this beautiful vessel. You'll hear more about it in upcoming episodes, I'm sure. But look for the boat. Captain Bill Pickney will be afloat this spring, and you will have a chance to get on her and learn something, because it's a training vessel. It's a vessel that we're going to use to train young people, middle-aged people, and senior citizens on being able to come out on the beautiful Lake Michigan and the Chicago River and the Calumet River. And guess what? We're going to be doing it all in the name of Captain Bill Pickney, just carrying on his message and carrying on his legacy. He is 87 years old. Do you know this man moves around on boats? I couldn't believe it. Moves around on boats like a gazelle. Perfect balance. 87 years old. Oh my goodness. I hope God gives me that many years where I can enjoy it. But Captain Pickney, he also sat me down and told me about some of his collection of his research that I happen to be working on a book currently about the boats that slave ships, and these were slave ships, and I wanted to find out what was it that a person could actually use to trade for another person's life. I mean, what did they have on these boats? Actually, it was rum, weapons, and foolishness, bags of shiny beads. That's right. That's how they bought Rhode Island. You know, the thing is, what were those things cataloged as? And what were the human beings that were human cargo cataloged as? It was cargo. They were cargo property. And so I've had a passion for some 25 years in studying the history of slave ships and reading the captain's logs, the manifestos of those ships. I wanted to find out how many people did they start off with on each journey versus how many people landed. And do you know that Captain Bill Pickney has first edition collector item books, 4 volumes that I'm going to have to go back down there. He won't let me borrow the books, of course, but these are collector books which will show me the history of the slave ships in a detailed way from a captain's point of view. You know, maintaining order on a slave ship must have been really something different. And there were many techniques used. There are several books written on it, and I plan on making an additional book, but from a different perspective, and that's the perspective of a boat captain that is black. So we'll be telling you more about those things. Thank you, Captain Bill Pickney, for letting us use your name, and thank you so much for allowing me to come and spend some time with you once again. This is my second trip. I can't wait to come back there. My next trip, I'm going to come there with a scanner, and I'm going to scan every page of every document that you wish to share with me, Captain Pickney, because I know that you have that information that we must share with the world. And if somebody doesn't carry it on, I don't know who will. I have to make sure that I am continuing the process that you have started. I don't know what else I can do or what I'm supposed to do. Now, let's talk about the 2022 season on the Lake Michigan. Boy, oh boy, you're talking about a lot of fun. I think that there was a lot of things that went wrong. Of course, you can point out all of the bad things, but like Armandino says in his book, The Greatest Salesman on Earth, he says the fault finder shall find fault. So I'm not being a fault finder. I want to tell you today about some of the great things that happen out on Lake Michigan, and I'm also going to mention some of the challenges that we have. But first, I want you to see a video of something called the Chicago Scene Party. We do this once a year. Make sure that if you want to come, that you give me a call. Let me know. I can help you here. I'm going to give you my phone number. My phone number is 312-437-2230. That's 312-437-2230. What you're looking at right now is the Chicago Scene Party. And man, this is a drone shot. I can tell you this, Captain Mark is also a drone pilot. And I want to be able to show you how you can get on a boat and get some of these great aerial shots of you having fun with your friends and family. But make sure that you utilize Chicago's beautiful lakefront. This is located in the Playpen area at 600 North Lakeshore Drive. Some people call it the Pig Pen. That's what Captain Jim calls it. He calls it a pig pen because of all of the foolishness that goes on. But I'm going to tell you, you take a look at this and you will see that these boats that are tied together on a nice calm weather day, most of the time everything goes smoothly, but sometimes these things can go really bad because people are jumping from boat to boat to boat and having fun. You see these people right now moving from boat to boat to boat, and those are the things that you want to do. Are they only young people? No. You have people of all ages, families and so forth that are out there. I think that this promotional video probably will focus on the young adults, but I'm here to tell you that the Playpen is available to absolutely everyone. Every Chicagoan should go out to see the beautiful Playpen, and this is one of Chicago's assets. You see, as a boat captain, As a boat captain, I can only tell you a Chicago boat captain is also a Chicago ambassador. We are ambassadors because many of these folks are tourists that come from out of town. We want to make sure that we're showing them all of the great fun that they can have. Good, safe fun. With a licensed United States Coast Guard captain, you can't go wrong. At least your chances of something going wrong is very, very diminished. Also, many of these boats are just personal boats, but many of the other boats that you're seeing here are also rental boats and boats you can lease. So there's many, many ways to get on Chicago's beautiful lakefront. You don't have to be rich. You only have to rent a boat for one day. You can do that. And I can tell you, it is so much fun. Renting a boat allows you to just rent it for that day and go home. But you can lease a boat and share it with other people. And this way, you don't have to worry about paying for storage. You don't have to worry about paying for dock fees, mechanic fees, cleaning of the boat, polishing of the boat, or all of the other 99 things that you have to do as a boat owner. You can lease the boat as a shared leasing member in one of the many companies. There are many companies on Lake Michigan. I know I'm not referring them to you. Oh, look at this. Now, alcohol is always good on a boat. Maybe. I mean, drinking and boating goes together. But you better have a licensed captain who is sober and safe to keep you safe. I always tell my passengers that if we see somebody going overboard and drinking a bit too much, we're going to support them by putting their behinds in a seat right next to the captain. That's for sure. That is Chicago's scene party, and I want you to be part of it. That's one of the great things going on. Do you know how many harbors there are in Chicago's system? 1, 3, 5? No, 10 harbors in the Chicago system. So let's go to the Google Maps and take a look. I'm going to give you a tour of the Chicago harbor systems from a Google Maps point of view. And we're going to take a look at those different harbors. So while they're pulling it up, I just want to tell you, if you are interested in coming out on the lakefront, this isn't about selling you a boat trip or anything like that. I just want you to go online and look up a rental boat company. Look up a boat leasing company. Look up Captain Mark Stevenson. Make sure whoever you select as your captain, make sure that you do some research on them. Now, here is a map of Chicago's beautiful Lake Michigan. Okay? One of the things that I want to tell you about is that we travel across the lake. Follow my arrow if you can see that, okay? We travel across the lake from Chicago to Michigan City. That's about a 4-hour trip. Maybe 3 hours if you got a fast boat, but when you're on the water, it's not about going fast. You can also go to New Buffalo. You can also go to Union Pier. You can go to Lakeside. There are harbors every 10 miles along the curve of Lake Michigan. A lot of people don't know that. These folks can really, here's one of my favorites. Right here is where I first stored my first boat, and that's in East Chicago. Look at the arrow here where it is. I'm going to zoom in for you. This harbor, you have to come in this way, and you have to make a turn this way, a S-turn, and then go into the harbor system. And in this area here is where the East Chicago Harbor is. It's also a great storage yard. A lot of people use that harbor store their boats during the winter time. It's a lot less expensive. That's why they leave the Chicago system. However, if they want to be in the Chicago system, I want to share something with you about the Chicago system. Here is something you are familiar with. How many of you know where Calumet Park is? 95th Street, all in this area. Here, 95th Street, Calumet Park. Now, the Calumet River runs through this and runs under the Chicago Skyway. We're going to follow this river. And I'm going to show you something. The reason I want to show you this is because, do you know there are no streets, there are no sidewalks along this river? And there's no way to see all of the beautiful, beautiful, pristine landscape unless you see it from a boat. And I'd love to take anybody with me on these trips down the river. But if we go down this river, the first place that we run into is a famous place, Crawley's Yacht Yard. Crawley's is one of the biggest yacht yards in the city. They have land on this side of 95th Street and on this side, on the north and south of 95th Street. And that's one of the biggest yacht yards, and they also sell plenty of boat supplies. They sell boats also. They also have a place here called Nautical Donations. Nautical Donations is where people donate their boats to. And you can catch a great deal if you go over there and take a look at some of these boats, because it's not about making money. It's all about helping other people with the money from boats that people don't use anymore. You see, these boats that are donated are given away almost to anyone who loves a boat. Let's travel down the river a little more. If I go down a little more, here's another place I like to go to. This is Skyway Yacht Works. Now, Skyway Yacht Works is right underneath the Chicago Skyway. That's the second yacht yard that you can go to if you're storing boats. However, it is the last yacht yard that you're going to go to if you're driving a sailboat with the mast up, because you cannot get past this these bridges that we're going to be talking about and after this point. Let's continue down this river and see what else we got here. Well, we traveled down this river. Oh my goodness. Along this river here, you have all of these slips. That's where freighters are loading and unloading all types of things: gravel, steel, ground up glass that's being recycled, salt. The Morton Salt is down in this area too. Here we just continue until we get to the split. Now, when we get to where this river branches off, we don't make a right turn. I've done that before. You make a right turn and go up in there. The water's real shallow, and it leads to Lake Calumet, which is a very shallow lake. But instead, we're going to travel and keep going down here. And once we get to this place, this will be the Chicago Locks in this area here. So we're going to keep traveling. The Chicago Locks is a very special place because that's where the water from Lake Michigan is separated from the river water. They don't want all of the Lake Michigan fresh water running down this river into the Illinois River and into the Mississippi. By the way, did you know that you can get to anywhere in the world from Chicago? If you travel down this river, you'll eventually end up in the Illinois River into the Mississippi River, which could take you to the Gulf of Mexico and around Florida. Now you're in the Atlantic Ocean. You can also travel Lake Michigan north, and we'll talk about that one day, where you can go to New York City. It took me 18 days to deliver a boat from New York to Chicago. You can't Go fast on these rivers. You cannot create a wake. Look at the bends in this river. Oh, you're talking about beautiful, beautiful landscape. Not to mention the beautiful birds. There are some 120 species of birds, some 25 that are commonly seen along the river banks, of cranes, all types of egrets, white egrets, gray egrets, and so forth. Just a beautiful, beautiful view that you just don't know is right at your back door. If you continue down this way, you're going to go to, let's see, what street is this? That's Pulaski, yeah. Yeah, and you can keep going. I'm just trying to show you how this river eventually will connect. If you follow my arrow, it will connect with the Chicago River. What did you say, Mark? Yeah, that's right. If I kept going down this river and I got in at this branch right here, I could make a right turn, and now I'm on the Chicago River. And do you know, if I took this Chicago Sanitary Ship Canal all the way back up through Chinatown in Chicago, guess where I would end up? Downtown Chicago, that's right. Here's Chinatown and Ping Tong Park, right where the arrow is. So that's a circle that people do. It's a nice full day trip. You go back up here, and now we're going through downtown Chicago, all the big buildings and stuff down in here. Here's Chicago's River Walk along in here, and it opens back up through the Chicago Locks. The Chicago Locks are located right here, and it will let you back into Lake Michigan. So I can only tell you that we have so much fun doing this, and we have no end to it at all, because the United States is shaped by its rivers. Take a look at the western edge of Illinois. Look familiar to you? Well, it's been defined by rivers. Now, thank you so much. I appreciate the technical crew helping me to accomplish showing you some of these things. I can only say this. If you stay at home, you will not ever enjoy the beautiful lake. Someone told me that if you stay on the beach, you'll never be able to enjoy the beautiful, beautiful deep sea and find out all of the things that are in the beautiful sea. In Chicago, we have a gold mine, and that is beautiful Lake Michigan. It is connected to 4 other lakes. There are 5 Great Lakes, and these lakes are all connected by waterways. This is how we get. So if you're absolutely focused on following your dream, we want to help you do that. Now, here's another thing that I'm very passionate about. The physically disabled and the physically handicapped. These are just people that operate differently than us, that's all. Do you know that we can take them on all types of beautiful trips too? There's a place called the Judd Goldman Foundation that trains and teaches people with physical disabilities for sailboats. But they don't have anything until Captain Pickney allowed us to use his name and use our training vessel to train people how to drive power boats. Power boats. Here's one thing I promise that we're going to do, and I need your help to do it. So grab your pen and paper, and I'm going to give you my email address, and I'm going to give you my phone number, and I want you to call and tell me how you can help us to accomplish the following thing. We want to build a ramp and a stairwell that will allow people in wheelchairs or crutches or however they get around, we want to make sure that they're able to get onto the boat and off of the boat safely. There is no place along Chicago's lakefront. And I'm going to ask Mrs. Mayor right now, Mayor Lightfoot, I want you to be the first one to step up to the plate with your Office of Physical Disabilities, your handicapped office, that makes sure that there are stairs and wide enough doorways to get wheelchairs through. Well, don't you know we have thousands of people? And I know you know this, Madam Mayor, we have thousands of people in Chicago who have physical challenges. And Captain Mark Stevenson wants to take every one of them out on a boat ride. I want them to feel safe. I want them to be able to have access to catch an Uber from their house down to the lakefront and meet me where my crew and I will meet them at the Uber station so that we can take them from that car onto the boat safely. Now, a lot of people don't realize, there's no way to do it right now. I can see it happening at Burnham Harbor, for example. The car can pull right up to the water almost. And if you help me, I can make it happen so that we can not do this years from now. I mean, it doesn't take a lot to build a ramp and a stairway. Come on, listen, I make this too complicated. Here's all you have to do. Call Captain Mark Stevenson at 312-437-2230. That's 312-437-2230. You can also email me at yourcaptainmark@gmail.com. yourcaptainmark@gmail.com. Before the show ends, we only have a couple of minutes. I'm going to say it again in case you didn't catch it. I want to give it to you again because we need your help. We need government help. We need individual help to go ahead and help us build a ramp and a stairway, because we're going to take these folks with physical disabilities. I can't tell you. Boy, I took my cousin. He's been blind all of his life. I took him on a boat ride. Yes, he drove the boat. How does a blind person drive a boat? Well, you're not going to hit anything out there, but when you're out in the open, I was able to take my cousin out there, and when he turned that boat to the right, he could feel the boat turning to the right. He turned it to the left, he can feel that, and he can feel the waves. Oh my God, the look on his face. I want to do this for anyone that has any type of physical disabilities. So again, you want to call Captain Mark Stevenson at 312-437-2230. That's 312-437-2230. Or you can email me at yourcaptainmark@gmail.com. Now we got to go, folks, but I'm going to tell you, I've been so excited to get back from Puerto Rico just to be with you, and I will see you next week. We're going to have a special guest, but until then, I'll see you then, and Mama, I need you to get the coffee ready, because the kid, he's on his way.